You may be wondering why Eva asks you to collect reviews for the restaurant you are going to visit, or what this collect review assignment is about. Well, you may not believe it, but are you aware that you are actually doing research? When you collect the restaurant reviews, when you create screenshots, when you save the URL to these reviews, that's what we call data collection in research. And when you analyze the reviews, that's what we call data analysis. I'm aware that many people would assume data to be numbers, but actually data can be words too. Data can be pictures, data can be videos, and in the future, I think data will come in all kinds of modalities. So yeah, the restaurant reviews we're collecting, they are data, and we're trying to figure out what we can do with them and what we can find with the data we have collected. You see, doing research is not that mysterious or high-end. It can be something very ordinary. It can be something very daily. You can do research by yourself. When you have a question in mind, you can start looking for answers. And if you do it in a systematic and scientific way, that's research. And let me answer the question why I ask you to include both the screenshots of the reviews and the URL. Like I mentioned in the instructions, the data, they are alive and they are changing. And the screenshot you created only captures a moment of the data. Let me show you what I mean by saying that. So here is a screenshot I created and saved in 2020. And here is the URL to the actual review. Let's open it and see what has changed. As we can see, Jane hasn't changed her profile picture, but her friends on Yelp and number of check-ins and the pictures she has posted increased dramatically if you compare the number to the numbers we have on the screenshot. See, these numbers changed. And also, we can look at the badge here. It says Elite 2020. If you're not familiar with Yelp Elite badge, let me give you a quick explanation. So this is the official page of Yelp Elite. It says, the Yelp Elite Squad is a diverse community of passionate writers, photographers, and adventurers. Every experience you share on Yelp helps people discover the best of everything local. Love discovering hidden gems, supporting local businesses, going the extra mile with your photo, reviews, and adventure. Join your local, yes. Yelp Elite Squad, I think. Yeah, the yes means Yelp Elite Squad. Community and discover even more hidden spots in your city. So it seems that to become to join the Yelp Elite Squad, you need to upload your real name, and you need to upload a real photo of yourself, and then you nominate yourself and tell us why you want in. It seems to be an application process. And in my knowledge, people with Elite badge, their reviews are much more comprehensive and trustworthy because they review, I don't know if they do it for money or something else, I'm not sure. But the reviews they give is much more professional. So that's my general expression of the Yelp Elite badge. And as we can see, Jane was an Elite member in 2020, and now she remains to be an Elite member in 2021. So that's the change. And I believe more people responded to her review here because we have 11 people who find her review to be helpful, 2 people find it to be funny, and 1 believe it to be cool. Oh, unfortunately, I did not even capture that kind of information in my screenshot, which shouldn't happen. So, and we will talk about the importance of the texts, what we call paratexts, that are not in the main text but can be equally important and contributing to the message. All right. So that's a very brief explanation on why I want both the screenshots and the URL. Remember, the data are alive. And here is an additional slide to explain what I mean by saying the data are alive. All right, just preserve a moment of the data. And in case the data disappear or someone edits it. By the way, it's very possible that someone would delete their reviews for many reasons. So to preserve, to capture a moment of the data is still important. Next, here comes an example from one of my former students, Yuesen. He scratches out reviewer's name. As you can see, when collecting the reviews, by the way, comes in Chinese, and that's why he translates it into English for me and for the class. And then he scratches out the username and also black out the avatar picture. So it's very interesting because that sort of protects the privacy of this restaurant reviewer. And that leads our conversation to research ethics. We would ask questions like, does your very act of research compromise the reviewer's privacy? And is that kind of information sensitive or not? I would say in our case, because Yelp reviews, they are public anyway, so it does not violate their privacy, I would say. But in research, it's very common for us to consider very carefully whether the research compromise our research participants' privacy. And we would ask, do the people you research have the right to know that you are studying them? That's, again, a very interesting question. For example, I have seen research collecting data from YouTube videos. For example, Markiplier, is one of my favorite YouTubers. And I think a researcher just collect all his videos and transcribe his videos and then throw the transcribed data into corpus to calculate how complicated his vocabulary is. So it's very interesting. And does Markiplier has the right to know that he's being studied? I would say if I were the researcher, I would let him know. And also, do you need to obtain their consent when you collect their reviews? I would say in our cases, if we're just reading their reviews like any regular Yelp reviewers or Yelp users would do, it is not necessary to obtain their consent. However, if you wish to interview them or if you want to talk to them personally for any academic purposes, then it is very necessary to obtain their consent. They need to understand the purpose of your research, what you are trying to do, how you will use the data, how are you going to protect their privacy, and most importantly, maybe how your research will benefit, like who it will benefit, right? If you aspire to be a scholar or a researcher in the future, consider this mini lesson as your introductory lesson to research ethics.